Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel Top Coin, where we uncover the hidden treasures hiding right in your pocket change. Today we're diving into a small but mighty coin, the 1990 United States 1-cent coin, the classic Lincoln penny. You might be thinking, it's just a penny, how valuable can it be? Well, what if I told you some of these 1990 pennies can sell for hundreds or even thousands of dollars depending on their condition, variety, and mint mark? Stick with me until the end, because we're going to explore the history, the reason certain coins are worth a fortune, and the current market value so you know exactly what to look for. The United States 1-cent coin has one of the richest histories in American currency. The design we all know today, with Abraham Lincoln's profile on the obverse, was first introduced in 1909 to mark the centennial of Lincoln's birth. Fast forward to 1990, the coin still carried the Lincoln Memorial design on the reverse, which had been in use since 1959. The obverse still featured Victor David Brenner's portrait of Lincoln, and the reverse showcased the memorial in honor of the 150th anniversary of Lincoln's birth. By 1990, the penny was no longer made of pure copper like earlier decades. Instead, it was composed of a zinc core coated in copper, a change made in 1982 to reduce minting costs. In 1990, the U.S. Mint struck hundreds of millions of these coins across three main locations: Philadelphia with no mint mark, Denver with the D mint mark, and San Francisco for proof coins marked with an S. The Philadelphia Mint struck the largest number, meaning most 1990 pennies you find will be from there. The Denver Mint coins were also widely distributed for everyday use, while the San Francisco coins were high-quality proof issues meant for collectors. Now, here's where it gets interesting. While the vast majority of 1990 pennies are worth face value, a few rare varieties and minting errors can make them extremely valuable. The most famous and valuable is the 1990 No-S proof Lincoln cent. Normally, proof coins from San Francisco have a tiny S mint mark beneath the date, but a small number of proof pennies were mistakenly struck without that S. This error was discovered after the coins were released in collector proof sets. Because so few exist, collectors are willing to pay big money for them. In pristine condition, they've sold for over $3,000. There are also other factors that can increase the value. Coins in mint state condition, graded MS67 or higher by professional grading services, can fetch significant premiums even without errors. Certain off-center strikes, double dies, or coins with unusual plating mistakes can also be valuable to error coin collectors. The coin market is constantly changing based on demand from collectors and the availability of high-grade examples. As of right now, an average circulated 1990 penny is still worth 1 cent, but if you have one in superb uncirculated condition, you might be looking at a value of $5 to $20 or more depending on the grade. And if you have a 1990 No-S proof Lincoln cent in perfect PR70 condition, you could be holding a coin worth several $1,000s. Collectors today are becoming more interested in modern coins, especially varieties and mint errors, which means even coins from the 1990s are gaining attention. Online marketplaces like eBay regularly see auctions for rare 1990 pennies, with competitive bidding when a high-grade or rare variety appears. Coin shows and auctions are also great places to see what these coins are selling for in real time. So how do you know if you have a valuable one? First, check the mint mark just below the date. If it's a proof coin with no S where there should be one, you found something rare. If you have a regular business strike coin, check for condition. No scratches, bright luster, and sharp details mean it could be worth grading. Look carefully under magnification for any doubling in the date or lettering, and check for misstrikes or off-center designs. The bottom line is, the 1990 United States 1-cent coin might seem ordinary, but with the right combination of rarity, condition, and collector demand, it can be worth far more than face value. Whether you're a casual change checker or a serious collector, it's always worth taking a second look at those pennies. Who knows, your next coin find could be worth hundreds or even thousands of dollars. If you enjoyed this deep dive into coin history and value, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe for more rare coin videos, and drop a comment telling me what your most valuable coin find has been. Thanks for watching, and happy collecting. If you want, I can also make a much longer, stretched out version with added storytelling, coin grading tips, and detailed auction case studies so it hits 15 to 20 minutes of talk time for YouTube. That way, your audience stays hooked while you maximize watch time. Have you ever picked up an old penny and wondered if it might be worth more than just 1 cent? Well, today we are diving deep into the fascinating story of the 1991 United States of America 1 cent coin. This tiny piece of copper-plated zinc could be hiding in your pocket change right now, and depending on certain features, it might be worth far more than you think. Stay tuned because I'm going to break down its history, how to spot valuable versions, and exactly how much collectors are paying for them in today's market. History of the 1991 1 cent coin. The 1991 penny is part of the famous Lincoln Memorial Cent series, which ran from 1959 until 2008. Designed by Victor David Brenner, the obverse features the classic bust of Abraham Lincoln facing right. Above his head is the motto "In God We Trust," on the left side is the word "Liberty," and on the right is the date 1991. On the reverse side, we have the Lincoln Memorial, designed by Frank Gasparro, with the words United States of America above and the denomination 1 cent at the bottom. The Latin phrase "E pluribus unum" arches just above the memorial. If you look closely with a magnifying glass, you can actually see a tiny statue of Lincoln seated in the center of the memorial design, a detail many people never noticed. The year 1991 was well into the era when the U.S. Mint had switched from solid bronze pennies to copper-plated zinc coins. This change happened in 1982 due to rising copper prices. As a result, the 1991 penny contains only 2.5% copper and 97.5% zinc, giving it a lighter weight of just 2.5 grams. These coins were struck at 3 different mints: Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. Philadelphia coins have no mint mark, Denver coins have a small letter D under the date, and San Francisco coins, which are proof strikes, have an S. Mintages and COMMONNESS. The mintage numbers in 1991 were huge. Philadelphia struck over 4.2 billion pennies, while Denver produced more than 4.6 billion. The San Francisco Mint made about 3 million proof coins for collectors. With numbers like that, the average 1991 penny in circulated condition is still extremely common and is worth just its face value. However, and here is where it gets interesting, certain conditions and errors can push the value way beyond 1 cent. Valuable varieties and error coins. Collectors are always on the lookout for high-grade, uncirculated examples that have no scratches, bag marks, or spots. A 1991 penny graded MS68 or higher by a professional grading service like PCGS or NGC can be worth hundreds of dollars because such coins are rare survivors from billions of strikes. Then we have error coins. Some of the most sought after include off-center strikes, double die obverse or reverse, broad strikes, and coins struck on the wrong planchet. For example, if you find a 1991 penny with doubling on the date or lettering, especially on the words "Liberty" or "In God We Trust," it could be worth $50 to $200 or even more depending on the severity of the doubling. Another type of valuable error is the transitional planchet error, where a coin was struck on the wrong metal composition by mistake. If a 1991 cent were accidentally struck on a leftover bronze planchet from pre-year 1982 stock, its value could easily skyrocket into the hundreds or even thousands of dollars. Current market value. So what about right now in today's market? As of this year, a regular 1991 penny in circulated condition is only worth face value, 1 cent. But uncirculated examples with brilliant red luster can fetch between $2 and $10. The real money is in top-grade certified coins. A 1991 Philadelphia penny graded MS68 red has sold for more than $2,000 at auction. A 1991 D penny in the same grade has also brought similar results. Proof coins from San Francisco, especially in PR70 Deep Cameo, can sell for $50 to $100 or more. Error coins can vary wildly. Minor misstrikes might bring $10 to $20, while dramatic off-center strikes or rare double dies can command several $100s. How to check your 1991 PNNY. If you have a 1991 penny, here is what you should do. First, check the date and mint mark. Then look at the coin's overall condition. Is it bright red and shiny or dull and worn? Use a magnifying glass to inspect the details, especially the lettering and numbers, for any signs of doubling or other oddities. Weigh your coin if you can. A correct weight is 2.5 grams, but if your coin is heavier, around 3.1 grams, it could be a rare bronze planchet error. In that case, do not clean it, and get it authenticated immediately. The 1991 United States 1 cent coin may seem like just another penny, but as you've learned, the story behind it is richer than you might expect. From its roots in the Lincoln Memorial design to its potential for rare and valuable varieties, this little coin has big possibilities. So the next time you get change at the store, take a closer look before tossing those pennies into a jar. You might be holding a tiny piece of history, and maybe even a small fortune. If you found this video helpful, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe for more coin history and value guides, and share this with a friend who might have a 1991 penny hiding in their pocket change. Thanks for watching, and until next time, keep hunting, keep learning, and who knows, your next coin could be worth far more than you think. If you want, I can also add an even longer extended collector deep dive section about the economics of copper prices, more detailed mintage breakdowns, and famous auction sales of 1991 pennies, so the script could stretch into a 15 to 20 minute YouTube video. That would make it massive and ultra detailed for maximum watch time. Today we are talking about something you might have seen hundreds of times but never given a second thought to, the humble 1999 1-cent coin from the United States of America, also known as the Lincoln penny. But before you toss it into your coin jar or hand it over at the checkout counter, you might want to hear the full story, because this coin has a fascinating history, a surprising role in numismatic culture, and in some cases it could be worth far more than just 1 cent. Let's start with the history. The United States 1-cent coin has featured the profile of President Abraham Lincoln since 1909, making it one of the longest-running coin designs in American history. By 1999, the Lincoln Memorial reverse had already been in use for 4 decades, introduced in 1959 to commemorate the 150th anniversary of Lincoln's birth. This design shows the Lincoln Memorial in Washington, D.C., and if you look closely at the reverse with a magnifying glass, you can actually see a tiny statue of Lincoln inside the memorial, a detail many people overlook. Now, the 1999 penny comes at a very interesting time in U.S. coinage. It is part of the copper-plated zinc era, a change that began in 1982 when rising copper prices forced the U.S. Mint to switch from a mostly copper composition to a coin made primarily of zinc with just a thin layer of copper. The 1999 pennies weigh 2.5 grams and have a composition of 97.5% zinc and 2.5% copper plating. They were struck at 3 different mints: Philadelphia with no mint mark, Denver with a D mint mark, and San Francisco, which produced proof coins with an S mint mark. At first glance, the 1999 penny may seem like a common coin because millions were made. In fact, the Philadelphia Mint struck over 5 billion of them, and the Denver Mint struck more than 6 billion. But here's where things get interesting: not all 1999 pennies are the same. Some have errors, some have high grades, and some proof coins are so pristine they can fetch impressive prices from collectors. One of the most famous varieties of the 1999 penny is the 1999 wide AM reverse. Normally, the letters A and M in the word America on the reverse are very close together. On the wide AM variety, there is a noticeable space between the A and the M. This was actually a design intended for proof coins that accidentally found its way into circulation strikes, making it quite rare. Another error variety is the close AM proof coin, which is the opposite. The spacing matches circulation coins but appears on a proof strike. Both of these are highly collectible, and in high grades they can sell for hundreds or even thousands of dollars depending on condition and demand. Speaking of condition, the grading of coins is crucial in determining value. Most 1999 pennies you find in your change will be circulated and worth face value, but an uncirculated coin with sharp details and no wear can bring in a premium. The highest prices are paid for coins graded mint state 67 or higher by professional grading services. For example, a 1999 wide AM in mint state 69 red has sold for over $2,000 at auction. Now, let's talk about the market. The value of the 1999 penny depends heavily on demand among collectors, the presence of rare varieties or mint errors, and the grade of the coin. In today's coin market, a common 1999 penny in average condition is worth just 1 cent, but an uncirculated coin can be worth anywhere from $1 to $10 depending on luster and strike quality. Error coins such as double die obverses, off-center strikes, or those famous wide AM varieties can skyrocket in value. A proof 1999 S penny in perfect PR70 deep cameo condition can also bring serious money. Collectors love coins like the 1999 penny because they offer both a historical connection and a fun treasure hunt element. You might have one sitting in a drawer that you picked up years ago without even knowing its potential. The thrill is in checking each coin, learning the small details, and knowing that something as ordinary as a penny could be hiding a little fortune. If you are thinking about searching for these coins, here are a few quick tips. First, get a good magnifying glass or jeweler's loupe so you can see the details clearly. Second, focus on the reverse spacing between the A and the M in America. Third, keep an eye out for coins with strong luster, no scratches, and sharp details in Lincoln's hair and beard. And finally, if you find something unusual, consider having it graded by a professional service. This can greatly increase the resale value and make it more appealing to serious collectors. The story of the 1999 1-cent coin is a perfect reminder that value is not always about size or face value. It is about rarity, condition, and demand. So the next time you get change from the store, take a moment to check those pennies. Who knows, you might be holding a coin worth hundreds or even thousands of dollars. So that's the deep dive into the 1999 United States 1-cent coin, its history, the fascinating varieties, and the current market value. Make sure you like this video if you enjoyed learning about coin collecting, and subscribe so you never miss a chance to discover the hidden treasures in your pocket change. And remember, every coin has a story, you just have to look closely enough to see it. If you want, I can also create an even more extended version with added auction stories, price trends year by year, and dramatic storytelling hooks so your YouTube audience stays hooked for the full watch time. That would make it even longer and more captivating. Today we are taking a close look at a humble little piece of copper-plated zinc that you might have in your pocket right now, but don't be fooled, because the 2000 United States 1-cent coin, also known as the Lincoln penny, could be worth far more than just a single cent if you know what to look for. Let's begin with a little history. The Lincoln cent has been in circulation since 1909, introduced to commemorate the 100th anniversary of President Abraham Lincoln's birth. The original design by Victor David Brenner became an instant classic with Lincoln's bust on the front and wheat stalks on the back. Over the years, the reverse design changed, first to the Lincoln Memorial in 1959 and later in 2009 to mark the bicentennial of Lincoln's birth and the centennial of the coin itself. The 2000 penny belongs to the Lincoln Memorial series, minted between 1959 and 2008. Its obverse features the iconic bust of President Lincoln facing right with the word Liberty to his left and the date 2000 to his right. Just under the mint mark, the reverse features the Lincoln Memorial, a symbol of national pride and unity, with the tiny statue of Lincoln visible between the columns. If you look closely now, why talk about a coin that is only from the year 2000? Well, because not all pennies are created equal. While billions were minted that year, there are certain varieties and errors that can turn this everyday coin into a small treasure. The key to understanding its potential value lies in mintage numbers, mint marks, condition, and most importantly, rare errors. In the year 2000, the U.S. Mint produced pennies at 3 locations: Philadelphia, no mint mark; Denver, marked with a D; and San Francisco, marked with an S. For proof coins, the Philadelphia Mint struck over 5 billion pennies and the Denver Mint struck nearly 8 billion. San Francisco produced far fewer, but those proof coins were intended for collectors, not circulation. Because of these high numbers, an ordinary circulated 2000 penny is usually worth just face value. However, when you find one in pristine uncirculated condition, graded as MS67 or higher by a professional grading service, the value jumps dramatically. That is because collectors are always looking for coins with perfect strikes, no scratches, sharp details, and brilliant original luster. In such grades, a 2000 penny from Philadelphia or Denver could fetch $20 to $50, sometimes more if it is top of the population in the grading census. But here is where things get really exciting. The year 2000 also saw the release of some error coins that are highly sought after. One of the most famous is the wide AM reverse variety, normally on Lincoln Memorial cents. From 1993 to 2008, the letters A and M in America on the reverse are spaced closely together, but some 2000 pennies were accidentally struck using a reverse die intended for proof coins where the A and M are noticeably farther apart. This is the wide AM variety, and it is a big deal. Finding a 2000 wide AM penny in excellent condition can be like finding gold in your change. In circulated grades, it might be worth $20 to $30, but in uncirculated grades, it can bring $200, $500, or even over $1,000 at auction, depending on quality. Another rare variety is the close AM on proof coins for that year, which is essentially the reverse situation, though much rarer. There are also double die obverse and reverse errors, off-center strikes, clip planches, and even misaligned dies that can increase the value. Some dramatic examples of double die coins where The lettering and date appear double can sell for hundreds or even thousands of dollars if the doubling is strong and the coin is in great shape. So how can you tell if you have a valuable 2,000 penny? First, grab a magnifying glass and check the reverse spacing between the A and M. In America, if they are wide apart, you may have struck treasure. Next, check for doubling on In God We Trust, Liberty, and the date. Look for any unusual shapes in the letters or numbers. Then consider the coin's overall condition. If it is bright and free from wear, it might be worth grading. Now let's talk about the current market values. As of today, in the collector market, a regular circulated 2,000 penny with no errors is just worth 1 cent to maybe 5 cents if someone needs it to complete a folder. An uncirculated red gem could bring $10 to $50. The wide AM variety in high mint state grades can reach hundreds of dollars, and the finest known examples can go well over $1,000 for rare dramatic mint errors. Prices can vary wildly, but certain pieces have sold for several $1,000s at top coin auctions. Collectors love the 2000 wide AM because it is one of only a few modern Lincoln cents where the design mistake is easy to spot with the naked eye. It has that thrill factor of knowing that millions of people have handled these coins without realizing what they had in their hand. For many hobbyists, this discovery is what sparks a lifelong passion for coin collecting. So the next time you get change at the grocery store or go through your old jar of pennies from the drawer, take a closer look. That plain-looking 2,000 penny might just be the ticket to a nice payday, or at least a great addition to your collection. Coin collecting is all about the stories, the history, and the joy of the hunt, and the 2000 Lincoln cent is a perfect example of how even the smallest coin can have a big story to tell. If you enjoyed learning about the 2000 US penny and you want to hear more about other coins that could be worth far more than face value, make sure you subscribe, hit the like button, and share this video with your fellow treasure hunters. Remember, every coin has a story, and sometimes that story can be worth a lot of money. If you want, I can also add a punchier intro and outro so the script is even more gripping for YouTube retention and audience engagement. This way viewers stay until the rare coin value reveal. Today we are diving into a fascinating little piece of American history that you might just have hiding in your pocket change or in that jar of coins on the kitchen counter. The 2005 United States 1 cent coin, also known as the Lincoln Memorial Penny. This tiny copper-colored coin could be worth far more than just 1 cent if you know exactly what to look for. Now, before you dismiss the 2005 penny as just another common coin, let's explore its story and why certain examples from this year have become highly collectible. The design of the Lincoln cent had been in use for decades, featuring the portrait of Abraham Lincoln on the obverse side and the famous Lincoln Memorial on the reverse. This reverse design was introduced in 1959, replacing the earlier wheat penny design, and it remained until 2008, making the 2005 penny one of the later years before a major change in United States coinage. The composition of the 2005 penny is primarily copper-plated zinc. This design and material had been used since 1982, when the U.S. Mint switched from solid copper to a cheaper zinc core due to rising metal costs. The coin weighs about 25 grams and has a diameter of 19 millimeters. The front shows Victor David Brenner's classic bust of Lincoln facing right, with the words "In God We Trust" above, "Liberty" on the left, and the date 2005 on the right, with a tiny mint mark underneath indicating where the coin was produced. Speaking of mint marks, in 2005 there were 3 main production locations: Philadelphia with no mint mark, Denver with a D mint mark, and San Francisco producing proof coins with an S mint mark. The Philadelphia and Denver coins were struck for circulation, while the San Francisco coins were made for collectors in special proof sets. The proof coins have a mirror-like finish and are struck multiple times for incredible detail, making them more desirable to collectors. Now here's where it gets interesting. While most 2005 pennies are worth only face value, some can bring in significantly more on the coin market. The key lies in rare mint errors and high-grade condition. If you have a 2005 penny in pristine uncirculated condition, graded MS67 or higher by a reputable grading service such as PCGS or NGC, it can fetch anywhere from $15 to over $100 depending on demand. This is because coins in such flawless condition are extremely hard to find due to mass production and handling. But the real treasures are the error coins. Error pennies from 2005 can include double dies, off-center strikes, die cracks, and even wrong planchet errors. A double die error, for example, can show extra lines or shadowed letters in the inscription, such as Liberty or In God We Trust. These can command prices ranging from $50 to several $100s depending on the severity and demand. An off-center strike where the design is noticeably shifted can bring $25 to $150 or more if the date is still visible. Die cracks and cuds where extra metal forms raised lines or blobs on the coin surface are also collectible. and can be worth from a few dollars to over $50 depending on size and location. One very special example from 2005 is the satin finish penny. Produced in mint set satin finish coins were only made between 2005 and 2010, and they have a soft, smooth texture that stands out from regular circulation strikes. Because they were not released into general circulation, they often remain in beautiful condition and can sell for several dollars each, even raw, and more if graded. The 2005 proof penny from San Francisco can also bring collector interest, especially in perfect PR70 condition. These can sell for 10 to 20 regularly, but rare perfect examples with deep cameo contrast can sell for much more. When evaluating your 2005 penny, condition is king. Even a common coin can become valuable if it is free from scratches, dents, and has full sharp details. You should always handle collectible coins by the edges and store them in protective holders to prevent further wear. Now let's talk about the current market values. As of right now in 2025, most circulated 2005 pennies without errors are worth just 1 cent. However, uncirculated examples from bank rolls can bring 10 to 50 cent. Satin finish pennies from mint sets are worth around 1 to 3 in average. Condition proof coins range from 2 to 10, with perfect graded examples going much higher. High grade MS68 examples from Denver or Philadelphia have been known to sell at auction for over 300. Rare major errors can break the $1,000 mark if the right collector is looking for it. So why should you care about the 2005 penny? Because millions of them were produced, but only a tiny fraction remain in top condition or with rare minting mistakes. That means they are both easy to find in pocket change and potentially profitable if you know what to look for. It is the thrill of the hunt that makes coin collecting so addictive. You never know when that penny in your hand might be worth more than your lunch before you toss that change into a jar. Take a closer look at your 2005 pennies. Check for sharpness, luster, unusual markings, or misaligned designs, and remember that professional grading and authentication can greatly increase the value if you find something special. So whether you are a seasoned coin collector or just someone curious about the coins in your wallet, the 2005 United States 1 cent coin is a perfect reminder that sometimes even the smallest things can hold a big surprise. Keep searching, keep learning, and you might just turn that penny into profit. If you want, I can also create a second, even longer super deep dive script that includes historical background on Lincoln cents from 1909 onward, production statistics for each mint in 2005, and examples of recent auction sales for error varieties. That would push it into mega documentary length. Would you like me to expand it that far?